Okay, I hit the button. Let's see. All right. So it says we are live. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful night. Today, this is the last podcast that I will be a part of for a while, as I am heading back off to college. Killer might be taking over things. We'll see. Uh, it'll be great when Killer is doing that, but for now, you're still stuck with me. Tonight, we're going to be discussing whether or not the War of Rights Bloodline is based off of public players or regimental players. So, yeah, with that being said, let's go through and introduce everyone. First, we got Killer.
Yo. Wagwan, God save the king.
Next, we got Cosmic.
Hi, I'm Cosmic with the Iron Brigade. I'm the battery commander.
Thank you. We got Gene.
Hello, from Hampton's Legion.
Got Shade. Remembered you this time.
Killer smells, that's all I got.
That's so mean.
And then Corded has a very important message.
Oh, I've done this too much. Just look at the other videos. Link in the description.
Thank you, Corded. Yay!
Only reason why he turns up for the link in the description.
Indeed. So, I will now drag you out, Corded. You made your important speech. Unless you'd want to stay in here, that's up to you.
I mean, it might as well.
Fair enough. So
Keep this symmetrical tiles we got going on.
exactly.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want someone just in the dead middle. But anyways, so I guess we'll just start off with that question. What is everyone's thoughts here? Are public players or regimental players the bloodline of War of Rights?
Reg.
Give us a reason, Killer. Come on, man. Can't just say Reg.
How many regimental players play every week compared to public players?
I don't know.
Take Saturday and A, for example. Okay, you've got the 1 or 2 servers from House Divided, the 2 servers from Maryland Campaign, the 1 or 2 servers from GOA, and that in total probably doubles the amount that there is in the public server every single week.
I guess.
And
Sorry.
no, so out of everyone in here, you're all pretty high ranks in your regiments. How
I'm
many
not.
of your guys play public matches?
I have no guys. I am nothing actually.
Probably about 10%, 5%.
Yeah, the only time we tend to play pubs is for pubs like pub stomp, or if like there's somebody that I think needs more practice and I'm like, hey, just hop in some pubs this week and work on your artillery.
So why do your guys still play?
No, it's mainly for the events.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There you go. My point exactly.
Wow.
I agree with
Podcast over.
Killer, but I also feel like without pubs, we also wouldn't have a recruitment pool of, people that we can get in. But yeah, it leans very heavily towards regimental play.
So I somewhat agree with both of you guys, but a little bit different. I think if we're talking about lifeblood, right, what keeps the game alive, actually, I would say it's going to be your public players. And the main reason why is if you are a new player, just bought the game, right, and you hop on and play a match and there's nobody in the public queue, then you're just going to refund it. Like, we're not going to get recruits. We're not going to get, anything new because the public server is no longer populated. So those, 200-300 people that are on fairly consistently in the public server, they can kind of keep the game alive for us, and we just recruit from the people that they, I guess, draw in, right? But on the same lines, the regimental are what players are what give the game like longevity, right? If you're a public player, you get in there and you play a few matches, that's probably it, right? It's very few people that are going to stick around for the public matches. But if you get snagged in those first, I don't know, 10, 20 games that you play by a regiment, and you start playing with the regiment, you're probably going to be playing for 6 months to a year, like many of us, like me, Killer. I'm not sure about Gene. I know Corded have been around for an extremely long time. You know,
What is this with forgetting me? Why is that such a common occurrence now? Just nobody even mentions my name.
because you don't really count Shade. No,
Fair enough.
no. Actually, I Shade is also like Gene. I didn't really know you before, really before BLN. So,
Dubs.
yeah, hey, I'm just being honest.
No, we played Generals at War together.
Well, I know. We played Generals at War together. I meant like prior, like
Right.
when I started playing. You know, like Killer was around. Cord has been around for a long time. You know, I've been playing since before Artillery, so quite a while now.
How many people, how many thousands of players has public matches driven away from the game before they've even had a chance to check out regimental games?
Oh, I'm sure thousands, but then again, like I said, if you don't have anybody like in those public servers and you hop in for a game, then you're just going to return it anyways, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
Killer, I have a question. Do you think that regiments can drive players away from the game too?
Yeah,
Of course.
easily.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think happened to
So
me?
you're thinking it's not. Rest in peace, Shade. So you think the public matches drive away more players than regimental? You think?
Almost
Yes.
definitely. Look at the reviews on War of Rights, and the vast majority of them, like when they come from new players, obviously older players, then yes, it would be regimental stuff, not mainly, or mainly just the game getting stale. But for new players, it's always that, it's just hella confusing in the pub matches. It's toxic. It can be just downright boring for new players who have no idea what they're doing, and they get dragged into a game and you got people screaming at them to do shit. For some people, it makes it hella immersive and they get right into it. But for others who, like this game has a big older population, right? We all know that. We all have older guys who aren't necessarily as fast in RPGs. FPS, sorry.
Hmm.
And
I have something to add to that, but it kind of strays away from the topic. But I have always felt that the developers themselves don't put in enough effort to make people aware of regimental play, and really, I mean, there was the company tool, but since then, there's been nothing that has really that we've seen from the devs where they try and push new players into regimental play, and I feel that's kind of a shame, really.
What do you think the devs could do to promote regimentals in your mind?
They could just have a tab or something in the main menu, or just something that
like takes them to
draws
the Discord
attention.
or something, where the recruitment channels are and stuff.
Something like that.
I mean, I could see that, like a billboard within game that you can put
Yep.
your Discord, but I think it would have to go through like a verified Discord type deal, you know, like
Well, no, but they could just have a link
then
to
you're
the
just gonna
War of
what?
Rights Discord, like the recruitment page with all the regiments on it.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
there
could
are
do
other
that.
games that have like clan tabs and such. Like I know Bannerlord has that for their multiplayer side.
I mean,
think,
I agree. There needs to be something to encourage regimental play more, because like I mentioned before, that's what keeps people around longer. But you also have to think of it from a developer standpoint and from a regimental standpoint. I know it's been talked about many times on the podcast. How many regiments start up and then a month later or less are gone, right? So, like, if it's something official, you know, you have to think of it. That's a lot more work on the devs. So, kind of have to. They would have to figure out a way to do it that's kind of like open source, but also is able to be verified, so you don't get like troll discords. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
guys think in general? Sorry, go on, Eagle.
I was gonna say, I think most people, public players wise, I think they would know of Regis because when they hit T, if they know how to do that, uh, they can see that a bunch of people have tags on. There's people constantly recruiting and such like that. So I think people know about Regis. I just think some people just don't want to be in one. Some of them get annoyed because so many people ask them. I mean, I experienced that when I was trying to recruit people to IVB a while ago. So I think people know about it.
My response to that is, I think yes and no. More so, no. The recruitment that I've done recently, most people they can see tags, but they don't know about the exclusive events that happen that are scheduled. They don't know what the tags are for. If it's this is a regiment that plays in the server,
Hmm.
all the specifics around how Regis work, I don't think they understand.
Actually,
Uh,
that'd be interesting. Is if the devs actually put an in-game tutorial outside of the tutorial button in the main menu, they could be like, lock. Yeah, they do a little pop-up. It'd be like, lock servers are for private events. If you want to join a
yes,
regiment, go to the War of Rights Discord, and then it has a link there and something like that, and then maybe a little description of what regiments are. But
I think that would actually increase player count drastically than
Yeah.
what we're seeing right now.
I just
So,
think
would
if we
you
didn't
think?
have
Oh, sorry, Killer.
if we didn't have regiments, right, and we had two public servers up 24/7 of just people playing all the time, people would get so burnt out and bored way more quicker. And if we're talking about Bloodline, like I said before the podcast started, if you think about the human body, the body is like War of Rights, and the bloodline is, like the blood, and the only thing keeping War of Rights alive is regiments.
yeah,
Oh, that
I,
was a stage shot.
I mean, yeah, no, yeah, I pretty much agree. But
Like
I mean, you
public
also
matches.
gotta have the pubs be alive, or else the regiments will, I guess, die out over a long period of time. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely or the regiments definitely will, but it's gonna for some of them it will take a long time, like a
Yeah.
long time. But ultimately, like I said, the pub matches are like the first step in the door, right? Of this, it like we can't say one or the other is 100% the bloodline, but I would say the most important thing is the public matches, because if you're not going to get public matches, you're not going to you're not going to get the recruit in the first place. Like, anyone here play um oh, it's a World War II game. I'm drawing a blank on it right
Hearts of
now.
Iron.
Or World War One game. Sorry, no, World War
No.
One game.
Belarus.
No,
Oh, this is World War II, idiot.
that's World War II. It's like it's
Battlefield
kind of like
One, the Sanzo.
Beyond the Wire. Beyond the Wire, right? Has anyone here ever played that?
No.
No.
Okay, so up until about 6 months ago, if you went in, you'd be lucky to find like 5-10 people in a lobby, right? And then they added bots, and still you can only find like 3 people. So my point being is, no one's going to play a game if there's no public matches at all. You know what I mean? Like, no one's even going to get their foot in the door.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but it's you can't really take one away with the other, right? I feel like both matter. Then you'd have to lean into like killer or cosmic, where you know, I don't really know.
I think we're really arguing, like, is the heart or the lung more important? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes, but the one thing we haven't even mentioned is the fact that the majority of people in pub matches are regimental players.
I wouldn't say the majority anymore. That pub officer Discord has definitely changed it.
Well, yeah, but but that's only about like 10 guys that take officer.
You're saying if I load up right now, there's going to be a majority of.
Yeah, but if you look in the pub officer Discord, pretty much all of them, apart from about 10 of them, are regimental officers who go and do pub match officers
Which
in the
is
pub officer Discord.
which is kind of
Wh- wh-
funny.
Yeah.
when I played before Summer Sale, it was like maybe a 30% tags and 70% non-tags.
Well, yeah,
That-
but you gotta think of all the pubs, obviously, yes, but without regimental players going into those servers and populating them, it would just be a bunch of random pubs and a couple of pub officers going
That's
around.
also a
But
good
like
point. Yeah.
the pub officer Discord, for example, a lot of those guys end up starting regiments. We seen it with Second Mississippi, with Formless Nut. He was the most anti-regimental player you've ever seen, and then even he knew that the only way he was going to probably survive in War of Rights was to make a regiment. You seen it with Stonewall with the 12th Virginia. He was a big pub guy. He started the 12th Virginia. You get what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's the backbone in terms of the fact that to make it pretty much in War of Rights or to survive, regiments are, or if you just want to go and play on your own all the time, then pub matches, yeah, cool. But if you want to kind of build a solid reputation and build a solid community, regiments are the only way.
No,
I mean, I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that.
yeah, it is kind of funny that all the public players, the very pro public players, eventually go into making regiments and such and being a part of that. So
They build their public reputation because then that helps them when it comes to building a regiment. Because everyone already knows them and they're like, oh, this guy's in a regiment now. He was pretty cool the last like 2 months I've played with him. I'm gonna join it.
I remember.
I was just thinking. Sorry, you were
good.
talking about pubbies that eventually created a reg. A perfect example is like 30th Ohio,
Yeah.
right? They always used to just do public matches, and now they're doing organized regimental events with
Corn Brigade and all them.
yeah, Corn Brigade.
Love them.
Everyone goes into the regimental side of things after a period of time. Obviously, it didn't necessarily work out for Formless because he didn't necessarily change. But like, say when Formless Nut and Second Mississippi first started, they were like still trying not to be serious, but still wanted to play in the regimental side. So they wouldn't put bayonets on; they would bat charge, all that
What
shit.
the heck?
And then that slowly changed, and they slowly got into being a more serious regiment because people aren't going to want to play with you, and you kind of get pushed out. So the only way they could stay in the whole organized play thing was if they started, playing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like eventually you either join a regiment or you just kind of quit the game. And all those like pub guys that aren't in regiments that you see play all the time, the vast majority of them will be like level 40 plus because they've either been in a regiment before and they just didn't like it, so they stopped, or they've just kind of, they're the odd man out that always stays as a random pub player. But the vast
I don't really think
majority
that's the odd one out. There's a lot of people that I've seen in the game who refuse to join regiments and say they don't want to ever just like join one. They'd rather stay in pubs.
yeah, they refuse to join them, but most of them have already been in one, and it just wasn't great. And you see that with a lot of people, especially like in the Australian side, like early mornings. A lot of those old Australian people are ex-regimental players who just don't want to do it because of obviously time zone shit. So they just go on and play by themselves because they still kind of like the game, but not necessarily with the regimental side of things. Whereas most pubbies, you won't see be able to put in, 200 hours of War of Rights public matches because eventually they're just gonna be like, yeah, this is dreadful.
So I kind of want to pivot here. So we've been basically saying that if pub players, if they play long enough and they're like high officers that like to play pubs a lot, eventually they'll pivot to joining a reg or rather making their own regiment and doing stuff, or else they, for the most part, will just fade out and stop playing the game. Um, so I guess the question is, how could we improve the longevity of just pub only players? Like, what could improve public matches so that people will enjoy playing them over the long term?
I don't think that's really what they should be focusing on. I mean, I will say they should definitely be focusing more on the regimental players. A lot of those players have been here for multiple years, way longer than most pub people. It's way more important to keep them than to focus on getting newer people who might not last as long as them.
I think if, like I said before, if they give more attention to regimental play, then in turn you're also going to see the pub servers be more. People are going to be more aware to regimental play, and therefore the pub server is going to fill up more than it is currently.
So I think that any buff or whatever you want to call it, any change that would be beneficial to pub players would be beneficial to regimental players, right?
100%.
Once again, if you just improve public play in one aspect or another, then you're going to be, you're going to have more recruits available to the regimental players, right? And I know you talked about it last week. I think one thing that might help bring people in is having a map editor, right? Or like these changes that they've proposed to the game. It's just going to take some time to get implemented. But those things are going to be ultimately what's going to keep people in the game, right? That's the only way that a game like this is going to survive. Is going to be for the options of play, Sorry, kind of went off on a little bit of a tangent there.
No, that was good.
I'll be like AFK for like 2 minutes anyway at the time.
All right.
Oh no.
Killer's gone. We're never seeing him again.
I know. Good. It's a good thing.
No, I agree with that. I also, to pivot back to what I was saying, I feel like the developers, they've gotten to a point now in development where all the previous ways of communication with their community is kind of outdated. Like the company tool, they kind of don't stick to anything else but their forums and the Steam discussions. And most of us, we hang out in Discord, and that's our primary way of communication. I don't think the devs are, utilizing that enough, and that also contributes to what Cosmic was saying. If you're gonna do like a way of increasing people playing the game, then just small minor changes like that. But yeah, kind of straying away from the main topic of discussion.
No, I think that's fair, right? Maybe doing like weekly field reports or monthly field reports, just like, hey, here's what we're working on. Here's what we're doing. Here's how the game's gonna go. Because it definitely can feel like sometimes it's just, when's the next update coming out? What are they even doing? Is this game dead? It's not going to be dead. The devs are obviously working on it, but it's just there's so much uncertainty.
I think a great
hashtag invite the devs to BLN podcast.
Honestly, not a bad idea.
Like,
I think a great thing they could do, also welcome back, Killer, is hire a community manager. That's an easy way to...
They have too much money for that. Don't be stupid.
Right.
Isn't that...
Trusty is the community manager. And he is active in the Discord quite well.
No, not like that though. Not like that though, because Trusty
like a person who actually talks to us about stuff.
You're not going to get that. Hardly any even big companies don't even do that.
Actually,
because people are just going to get annoyed with it.
That's not really true.
Not even in terms of hiring, because there are so many people in the War Rights community that would jump to any opportunity to even help build the community even stronger
100%.
for the price of £0 an hour.
Yep, I'm pretty sure most regimental commanders that I know would be happy to help the devs with community outreach or whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
And I'm sure the devs
everybody wants more people.
That help.
Even if the devs did like a weekly fucking, like, sorry for my French, a weekly, like of how things happened or went over the weekend of different events that go on and shit. So they the community's up to date with what goes on in the regimental community, because
they're not going to do that. They don't want to promote regiments.
That's the thing, but regiments are the only thing keeping their game alive. So they're going to have to eventually either start promoting regiments
why don't they
promoting the regimental side.
Why don't they?
Well, it's not that they don't like regiments. They don't, as in my eyes, they don't want to promote regiments over public play or like show favoritism to either one of them.
Well, they definitely show favoritism to public play.
Well, that's the main part of the game. That's what's being played all the time. That's what seeds the test servers when they open that thing up.
It is.
We hardly
not.
ever get the regimental events on the test server.
The main tests that get done on War of Rights is when they open up the 400-man server and say for like a Friday or a Sunday NA, and we all jump in and populate it.
When
And
do
we
we do that?
actually we did that like the last like when they first released 400 player servers.
Yeah, I know. We
Well,
we
that was
literally
like
hopped in as a regiment. We were
I
like,
mean,
We did
Yeah,
that
but
for
that was-
Conquest too when it was first released, and
Where
When they
Contention,
first
right?
does
released
where
yeah, but
released
that's not.
It's
Just testing the 400 thing isn't the point of that test server. Is that it's like a special server where they get like a bunch more information than like the other servers. I don't know how it works, but that's what they
Yeah,
say.
the test server, and
Yeah,
we everybody jumped in. We all populated it. We had a big
that was like
organized
a year
event on it.
ago.
Yeah, but that was when they first released 400 player servers, and they were doing tests on it.
Yeah,
And regiments actually provided good feedback on it. Public players aren't going to do that. They're just going to whine and complain in the
Yeah.
text chat about bugs.
no, they do give feedback. I would say
Yeah,
probably
The ones
on
that
par
like
or more
know-
than the regimental.
I don't know
players
what
do.
pub players you've been playing with, but something tells me they have to be on some sort of drug because I've never seen a pub player that I think
Now,
would actually give
the
feedback.
ones that know what's going on will, but regiments know what they're getting themselves into when they go and do an organized big test server game, and they always produce good feedback for the devs. Whereas
but
a guy
for
who's just started,
regiment events, it's usually a one-time thing for the test server. For public players and at least like regimental players that are in the pubs, they're testing it over and over again.
how many times have the devs released like the whole like when you had to re-download the game on like the beta version or whatever, so you could jump on and do all the
They
tests.
don't do it that much.
Yeah, but that was all regimental players for artillery.
And,
Right.
and
"Yep,
also
I did it."
the passive income stream of server hostage from regimental play versus pubbies is
Do
you
they
know,
get anything from that?
it's yes they do. I think they have a contract, don't they, with the main hosting server or site.
The G portal, I don't know if they get
Yeah,
any
I'm
money
pretty
out
sure
of it.
They
No?
should get money out of it
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
they
they do, yeah.
because it's on their game.
Don't quote me on that though, but I'm
I
pretty
would
sure.
doubt it's anything major though, compared to what they get in sales every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many do they get refunded every year because the public servers drive people away?
100%.
It is a high rate, and that's what they keep working to lower that, because it is players that we lose.
So you guys are saying that the devs should focus more towards the regimental side of things and not the public side of things.
Not even focus more, just focus a
Small
little.
stuff.
They don't do anything on it right now.
Yeah.
They do nothing to promote. The only thing they do is have fucking recruitment channels in the community Discord, which, by the way, that was created by regimental members before it even really became, the War of Rights official Discord. Because it was only recently, like, in the last like 2 years or something, that the devs like started playing a big role in that Discord. Because beforehand, it was just ran by Ninth Corps,
Do
and then the devs kind of took it over.
do games similar like this, like Hell Let Loose, do the devs help with the regimental side of things? Does anyone know?
I don't think at the minute they would step foot in any sort of regimental thing because all the players are at their throats right now with the recent updates and Hell Let Loose.
Yeah, I guess Hell Let Loose has a lot more players than War of Rights. So
And that's what I mean, is the War of Rights is such a small game and a small player base that it's not even going to be hard for the devs to just communicate.
Yeah, they should
and
take
help,
care of the player base that they have. I agree, 100%.
because we're always willing and willing to help out when they ask us to go on and do tests and go on and do betas and all that stuff. And if they just promoted regimental play more, they would have so much more retention. That's not even going to drive from public matches, because if people still have fun in public matches, just because they're in a regiment, it doesn't mean they're going to stop playing public matches. I mean, I've got like 4,200 hours of War of Rights, and that is not in regimental games. A lot of that is public matches, and I still play public matches. Granted,
So
I can't play as many anymore, but I still play them when I can.
I'll say, to answer Eagle's question, I think they could throw a little bit of love in the regimental way, you know, like we talked about. Put on like in game, you know, basically put a billboard or whatever for us to put up our discords or on our servers. Um, give people the ability to join the Discord from the server. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to like.
That's a lot of work for the devs. I'm not even gonna cap.
What's that?
That's a lot of work for the devs to do, to have each individual like regiment server give a link, and then there's also those regiments that don't
I'm
even
not
own
saying
servers.
each individual server. What I'm saying is, you know how people put their Discord link in the server
And information, yeah.
information. Well, just allow it to be hyperlinked, like it, you know, or in-game chat. Allow it to be hyperlinked, so that people can like those like little small changes like that would just, I think, help.
Or a very, very, very simple thing that they could do is in the main menu, just like they have links to, you know, the BattleLine Network video and a couple other videos, why don't they have a link to the Union and Confederate recruitment channels? Then they're not going to be getting dead regiments like they are if you look in, like, you know how in the Discord you've got like the registry with all the regiments on it?
Yep.
Like, obviously that after a while becomes hella outdated with regiments constantly changing all the time. But the recruitment, the CSA and USC recruitment channels are the only thing that is constantly fresh because they're posted every single day.
The requirements for that registry, I think, are too lax. Because most of the time, a regiment will pop up, and then they'll get a bunch of reps in the server, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we have 50 people in our server with only 5 members. Put us on the registry." And
I feel like regiments should be around for a good month or two before they get put on the registry.
That's a great idea as well.
But that's just a community people thing.
What about those regiments that form from like multiple regiment splits? What about those guys? Because sometimes they have 25 people, 30 people out of a split.
I mean, I think there can be an exception for stuff like that.
Like the IVB EU people.
Like, yeah, I think that could be an exception because they've been here for a while.
Well, yeah, but that regiment has still been around for the longest time. You know what I mean? Like all they need.
Yeah, but they became their own separate thing.
Yeah, but they're not a new regiment. The same regiment.
They've been playing the game for a while. I think the big thing with the registry is that it needs to gatekeep against new regiments that just pop up.
Poor Knight from like a poor Mudlink, because he has to deal with Knight changing his regiment every 2 weeks. A new registry application in.
That's a great requirement. No changing your name for a year, and that'll get people to think. But
this thing is, it's not even that. It's more like a fucking case of how many regiments are going to constantly just keep coming in, taking a lot of new recruits because they have a big active drive for recruiting, and then die. And then those guys get scattered. Half of them leave the game, half of them don't because they're like, and then they just either become permanent pub players, or some of them join regiments, or some of them create their own regiments. I mean, that is obviously how the game keeps going because it keeps it fresh and it keeps things flowing. I get that, but at the same time, it does have a negative effect on the community. But that's just based on people having ego issues and can't accept the fact that they can't lead regiments, and they just keep trying it over and over and over and over and over again.
It's very frustrating because I know people like Sevi, for example. You might actually be thankful.
You might know.
Yeah, Sevi joined a small reg, and he stopped playing the game for a while because that small reg was terrible. Because when you picture the game, right, you want to picture big lines, big groups working together, not some 5-man regiment, and just
doing counter battery with their rifles.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my thought on smaller regs. For the most part, right? There's some smaller regiments that are part of bigger things, like 8th Ohio. I don't know how big they are. I just know they're, or maybe 5th Virginia or something like that, like 10, 15 guys, whatever. But they're part of a bigger group. They're a good group. So I guess it kind of it depends on the people and how long you've been in the game. So I guess I should rephrase to small and newer regiments, not small regs. So.
Dang.
But on the other side of the other question, Circling back to the question,
Thank you.
is I think, like I said before, any small what they should show a little bit of love to the regimental players, because obviously, like we've discussed, that is the majority of their population, right? Um, but like I said, with the public, we need those public players still. Um, but they should also just work on developing things that are going to really keep people engaged in the game. You know, like
Retention.
retention. Yeah, they need to, even if it's small things here and there. Like um, a good example as an artillery guy, like I really would like to get a rear sight on my cannon. You know, and that would a rear sight, because they had rear sights. They had pendulum sights on the back. Um, so allowing or giving cannons a rear sight, one, would help, I think, artillery, as far as make it easier for people to get into and aim more accurately. Um, Stuff like that, small updates here and there, like just quality of life improvements over a year is going to completely change the game, right?
It's like building blocks. So, say if they do something that will encourage the regimental side of the community to be more invested in the game, more of the regimental side of the community will stay in the game. And over time, with the regimental side of the community thriving and, encouraged to play because the game is changing, over time, that will mean more and more pubbies will stay in the game because they will get recruited into regiments that want to play because the game is actually changing and it's interesting and there's new stuff. And then the game will eventually grow.
So we keep repeating the points of quality of life improvements, tiny things, right? Specific examples, though. You said allowing regiments to have some kind of billboard or maybe in-game tutorial thing showing how people
In the
can
main
join
menus,
regiments, right? So
Yep.
there's that. You mentioned hyperlinks for things in the game. I don't know.
I think that's a very dangerous road.
It could
You know
be.
what I
It could
mean?
be very dangerous,
Yeah,
right?
it could be
People
very
put in a
dangerous.
link and oops. But
Yep.
any other concrete quality of life ideas that you can
I
think
mean,
of as of
like
now?
I said, the artillery thing. I think honestly, I know we have the video, but an honest to god tutorial would be nice for new players.
I just need a field manual that I can
Yeah.
pull up.
Well,
Well, we
you
already
could-
have that,
in
but it
the-
sucks.
so
No,
you hit
in the
F1
pause
and you're
menu.
like, oh, there's so many commands.
If you put a
Yeah, not
party's
that.
manual, I swear I'm gonna gut you.
No,
Literally,
not that.
first time you open the
But
game, you spawn in a drill camp, and it's like,
yeah,
okay,
I'm talking.
hit B to put on your bayonet, stab this thing.
I hate those types of tutorials. They make me want to delete a game.
It's
Yeah,
better
I
than
never
nothing.
played. I never played.
I
the
liked
tutorial.
learning it on my own and having Kronk teaching me, which is saying something.
Oh, God.
Wow,
I'm a
Kronk.
terrible person.
I
Oh,
like how
good
you
luck.
both had the same reaction.
Yeah.
I think having that would be better than nothing. Like it wouldn't have to be long too. It's just like hit B to put your bayonet on, hit R to reload, hit V to go in the melee mode, click left click the
Well,
stab, hit right
Why
click.
can't they do that in a public match? Like the first time you load into a pub game, it gives you little pointers as you're playing the game.
Does it?
No, I'm saying why
Oh, you're
don't they?
saying that's what they should
Oh,
do.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Instead of
That
instead
might
of
be a better
looking-
reason.
That would be better, I think.
Instead, because literally all they need to do is tell you to hit F1 and it brings up every single damn keybind in the game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. You load into a game the first time, and it just says press R to reload, right? Because that's the first thing you're gonna do anyways. And
I mean, that's the first thing you always do. What are you talking about?
Okay.
That's wrong.
I always reload first, but that's
And
For a
Wow.
good
That's a
reason.
hot take. That's a good
That's
poll
why you always
question.
lose.
Yep.
That's a good poll question.
before it does it, it can tell you to, a certain button to turn it off so you don't have to have it on. And the ones that want to learn it can do it, and the ones that don't, because then at least they're playing the game while getting pointers instead of being forced to have to go into a drill camp and do like a 10-minute little boring thing before they actually start playing the game.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Then. So if you have pop-ups in the game, how would you implement that, right? Because the game's not gonna know when you need to reload and put your bayonet on unless it's
Yeah, it does. Multiple games know that. You pull like you get the weapon out, and the first thing it says is hit B to put on bayonet, hit R to reload. A lot of games do that stuff already. Just in like a little small text on the side of the screen.
Yeah,
Big enough so you can see it, small enough that it's there. No?
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a bother, you know, and it just pops up literally, like you said, bottom of the screen, just like we see in every other game, right? About
I-
3/4 the way down the screen, it pops up. Bam.
Well, one quality of life thing I think they should have is simplifying the F1 menu, just to have like basic controls, and then you press another key to like have like all of them. Just so
I
you
could see
like
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Because
The
like
categories.
you don't need in the F1 menu, most people aren't going to need like spectator cam controls, you know.
Why not, man?
Or
What
like
if they
any of the
join
officer
BLN?
order stuff.
Well, I mean, once you join BLN, you can hit the second button to get the advanced controls.
Hmm.
I agree with that, Corda. That's a pretty good idea.
That's, yeah.
Eagle, you missed your chance to shameless plug and say you need more announcers.
Eh, we'll be fine.
Plugged in enough.
Yeah, we will. There will be
In
another
a way,
plug with them next week. I will say.
if BloodLine Network grew to the point where it had people in every single event recording, the devs could also just plug BLN and be like, check out the regimental side of the community, and then plug it
100%.
so they can check all the different events, all the different regiments, instead of just the same ones all the time.
For real.
You know,
Because we all know Eagle doesn't like going to those GOA events.
You know, it would be nice if they did more stuff with the War of Rights official YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd agree with that.
what's the last thing they did was like the cavalry where they marched the fucking horse through the drill camp,
there was
something like that.
another-
There
yeah.
was
It was
another
the
one.
Luminance graphics update 10 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So if I mean, if they did more with that, they could occasionally like spotlight of the week, and it's like of a certain regiment during one of their games. You know what I mean?
Eagle, you should take
Like, that'd be
control of
kinda
that
cool.
YouTube.
The War of Rights YouTube.
Yeah, bro. Just start doing the War of Rights weekly on there, bro. That's like perfect.
The idea that was mentioned earlier, doing like a weekly recap of all the matches, that has been brought up,
Yeah,
and I've thought of it, but never really had the time to implement it. I wouldn't oppose maybe doing that over college. That's one thing I could do, because most of that you don't need do it at a specific time. Because that's the issue. When I go off to college, I'm in marching band and stuff, and so a lot of that's happening during on the weekends because of college football and that kind of stuff, and so I can't be at the broadcasting times. Is why I can't. But I think that would be a good idea, and I could try something over the fall. So cool.
Yeah.
One quick thing before we continue talking. If anyone has any questions that they want to ask the panel, put them in the chat, and we'll get to those at the end. Anyways, what were you gonna say, Shade?
I said, yeah, hype. And then I was going to mention the fact that you're not going to dox yourself to some guy.
I don't want to say that stuff over video in conversation. Yeah, but
So I'm sorry. I'm just had a thought. I know we used to do it way back in the day, and I don't think we do it anymore. But if we just had like community night events where I know we do like already the community events, but like where we literally as regiments populated pub servers. Do you think that would kind of help the pubbies see us? You know what I mean?
no.
That would help people start to argue over recruiting people.
Yeah, I think it would become a big recruitment fest, and on top of that, I mean, if you have nearly every regiment that's playing that night join a server, they might just fill that server up. It might as well just be a
That's
normal
true.
Regimental
match.
thing.
Unless
Yeah.
you tell the regiments like, hey, we're gonna put 150 in this server and 150 in the other one. That might be a better way to do it, but
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like leaving it open enough that public players could still join. And I mean, obviously, like with that kind of thing, there could be just an unspoken rule, like you don't recruit during this time because it's not a night for us, but it's more or less a night for the public players to see what we are, how we operate. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We gotta. What I gotta do is for the transparency of the devs, I gotta be like, dear Trusty Jam, please let me know what the update is before the update comes out, and then we'll make an epic video, and it'll be based.
They would never do that because they don't want to let regimental players know things.
I promise. I will.
And you, my friend, are an IVB and Sussy and Northern Virginia, so
Dude,
just choose one.
How many War of Rights moderators are there on the official Discord?
I have probably like 4.
4 or 5. 2 of them are IVB members, and I don't know.
I never go into those.
I don't know how often the Discord admins of the War of Rights server talk with the devs about updates and stuff, but
I doubt they do.
you doubt they do?
Yeah. Someone would blab about it.
Then they would just remove their Discord moderator.
Well, no, but it's just more of a case of they're there just to moderate the Discord. It doesn't give them special perms to find out about updates before everyone else.
Yeah. I don't want to get collector's opinion.
Basically, what I'm hearing is just give Eagle the game, guys. Everybody just give Eagle the game.
No.
We're in agreement?
No.
Sure.
Everyone gets collectors and Sevi's opinion for free all the time.
Make BLN the official broadcaster of War of Rights.
I'll take a
Seriously, that would be. I think that would honestly help BLN as a channel, an Eagle, but it would help the community in general.
Yeah, but then they're gonna be splitting the money between like 6 people. Eagle's gonna be giving that 1.9K to like everybody.
Hey, and you know.
That's more than I thought. I thought it was like $6 or something like that.
Social Blade, what is it? Says I make 18 to 1.9K a year.
A year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big gap, but we'll take it.
Oh, 112 to 1.8K. Sorry. So.
Hey, that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, big bucks.
That's enough to get a new PC, man.
Indeed. Yeah, no, but that would be a great goal one day. Is if.
Just think, Eagle. If Trusty Jam's listening to this, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the one thing putting the devs off, sending a guy to the podcast is because of, it's like 2, 3 a.m. for them in the morning. EU podcast,
Indeed.
Eagle.
Killer might be doing a EU podcast on top of an NA1.
The only way a dev would come on here is if it's a one-on-one.
Really? You think so?
They're not going to take extra comments. That would just be horrible.
I'd do a one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Have the devs ever spoken other than Bradley and fucking the other guy?
I mean, actually, that's not an
interview.
That's not a bad idea though. You could just do a one-on-one a week or 2 weeks beforehand. Open a free forum for people to ask questions, and then select like 50 questions or how many ever questions that you and the dev agree upon to talk about. Like that's not such a bad thing.
That'd be
Trusty
great.
Jam,
Yeah.
hit Eagle up, and he'll organize it.
We will make accommodations.
We will make accommodations. I will stay up till 3 a.m. in the morning.
Why would you stay up until 3 a.m.?
Yeah, why would you do that? That's him doing it. You would only have to do it at like 3 p.m.
Yeah, you just have to skip your last class.
Right, I'm stupid. I am acting like I'm
The only-
European right now. I'm dumb.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. for me right now. It's 3 a.m. for them.
It's 3 a.m. for me too.
Oh, I appreciate.
Yeah, 7:50 right now.
Shade, I don't appreciate you being here then.
Why not?
No
Why
sacrifice.
not? We love you, Shade.
I'm sacrificing a lot to be here. I left a Hearts of Iron game to be here.
Oh, that's pretty rough.
You're not playing it while you're doing this? Are you focusing full force on this?
I'm focusing full force on Rocket League right now, but the same difference.
Fair enough. This War of Rights used to. I'm looking through their YouTube channel now. They used to post George's Corner and it'd just be I think
Oh
it's
yeah.
George Greasy just playing War of Rights. It's kind of cool. But yeah.
I think one of the things, this kind of going off topic a little bit, one of the things this game lacks is, and I mean, I know BLN's trying to work on it. We just kind of lack advertising, you know?
I disagree.
You disagree?
Through people like Pixelated Paulo, General Cody, who've been posting the game all for a
Markiplier.
while. They get Markiplier. Like you get bigger names every once in a while playing the game, but General Cody, Pixelated Paulo used to consistently do these videos a lot, and they get a lot of views. On top of that, these videos go viral on TikTok. Drew the Dude, like those things went viral with him, and so I think.
Well, they went viral for the wrong reason, though.
Yeah, I agree. However, I think people know about the game. It's just trying to get people to consistently play the game, right? I think this game is decently known out there, and a lot of people have seen it. It's just trying to get people to actually play the game.
Yeah, that's probably true. I guess I kind of forgot about the YouTube shorts and TikToks that, I mean, you know, like the arty shots and shit like that just go viral.
Yeah. I will say, though, that those focus more, right? Because the thing is with War of Rights is it's a very slow game overall. And so a lot of these people that do the TikTok and YouTube shorts just take like the specific itty bitty moments, and then the YouTubers who make long form videos like Drew the Dude will just cut out all the funny moments, or they'll cut out all the boring stuff. And so I think we need more types of content that show it War of Rights for what it just is, compared to all these clipped up stuff. I think that might help, maybe, because then people might see a game for a different perspective. Because there's this channel that's doing it. There's a guy named Jehovah. He just does UEC. He's kind of doing that.
There's Mod Riot Gaming.
There's Grand Campaign Network. That's Snapperkins that you just mentioned. Mod Riot Gaming.
Oh, is that who it is? I've always wondered who it was. I'm like,
That's
he's
Snap.
in a lot of our events. I'm like,
Yeah, he's from HL.
yeah, I knew he was from HL because he was playing Maryland campaign as CSA Artillery. Yeah, but either way, yeah. I mean, I think it's more or less like you said. It's not the TikToks, but yeah, I think we do need more. Because okay, good example. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked. Do you remember the old videos like General Cody used to do that were like just bloopers, War of Rights bloopers? You know.
Yeah.
Like, I think those videos and stuff are what draw people in, because it shows the War of Rights community for what we are, right? You know, it shows us like, yes, we're serious about it, but we like to have fun, and that's the whole reason we're doing it. You know, it needs to be more videos like that kind of stuff.
Most of the videos show us off as a racist game, so take what we can get.
I think.
Yeah, but that's like one person in like one or two people in like a 300 match or 300 man match. You know what I mean? And that it's just, unfortunately, those people are focusing on the wrong things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's unfortunately what goes the most viral.
Yep. I think that's pretty fortunate for us, actually.
Fortunate?
Yeah, pretty fortunate if you ask me.
That what?
That we get racist people in the game? What do you mean?
Oh, of course, yeah. That. Oh.
Hey, how do you think I came here? I found this game from Drew the Dude, bro. The first time we went viral on TikTok, I came.
Shade is a different era of War of Rights players.
I'm trying to think of who Drew the Dude is. I know the name sounds familiar. I probably watched a video of his or so, but I don't know.
He is a black guy who tries to antagonize people on the CSA side.
I know exactly who you're talking about, because okay, those are kind of hilarious to me.
Oh yeah, they're phenomenal. I think they're hilarious. It's just they paint a wrong picture for the game, but you know
they do. They do, but it is always hilarious when he has like a group of people and he's like, "Oh, that guy said this," and then you know he's like, firing line and has him, kill him. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That guy got team killed so much in game.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
actually becoming an issue.
I
Like
think-
literally
That's pretty
everybody
hilarious.
would just go and team kill him.
Bruh. Maybe that's why he stopped playing the game.
It probably is because he would literally say one thing and somebody would just go and fucking kill him.
Jeez, that's unfortunate. But
I'm not going to excuse my French because I'm not killer, and it's not called French. It's called cursing.
so what is it? You draw them in with the blooper moments. You draw them into the game. They get it, and then you got to get them in the reg, so then they stay for the community. So that's the game plan. But
Yeah.
I don't know how much it'll work, but hey, we gotta draw them in somehow.
we
gotta try.
We gotta.
We got candy.
We got candy. Got the white van
In a van, yeah.
Yeah.
Act racist. That's the way you get people in for the CSA. That's why CSA is so dominant.
Yeah, the CSA regs there's just so many compared to Union. What is?
Yeah, but I think Killer said it last week, is like Union has all like the large, like really big regiments.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Y'all have a lot of small ones too. Don't get that twisted. There's really no medium-sized Union reg. It's either they're fucking 40 people or they're 5.
Let's see.
Yeah, that's
from
fair.
Sunday Cord Union Regs. TNA was 1520, PA 1015, 20th New York 4 to 6.
Oof.
Ninth Corps 3035, IVB 3035. So they're still kind of all around. It's just there's not as many of them. So
And yeah, 42nd PA, which usually brings like 30
right.
to 40 people.
There's 10th US that
Yeah,
brings
we
very big
usually-
numbers as well.
We usually
Sussy, bro.
bring between 20
is
if it's an
sussy?
NA event, usually 20 to 30, and then EU event will bring 30 to 40 people in an event. So I think I agree with you, Shade, as far as that goes. We have a lot of really tiny regiments that are trying to get started in the Union, and then we have like massive brigades.
You also have like
I feel like a lot of those brigades are starting to split though.
Sussy Brigade is quite interesting. They're made up of 8 regiments now. And they got the 5th Florida,
Dude,
1st Delaware, 5th North Carolina, 69th North Carolina, 1st Maryland, 8th Virginia, 59th New York, and the Nauvoo. I don't know how to say
I'll
that.
say here-
Good luck saying that. I know which one you're trying
when
to say.
Sussy plays on Sunday NA, it's just not fun to play against them because they're like an 80-man unit, and oh man,
They're technically
It's
8
tough.
regiments. Technically.
Yeah,
What
of
happened to
course,
TNA? They used to be a large group.
Good question.
That is.
Does anyone know?
We were.
No,
I was
not
thinking
really.
earlier
No.
this summer of starting a series where I would go into a deep dive of each community regiment, their history. How they
Would have been
got
best to start with the 14th Brooklyn. It's like the best one to start with.
Do you guys remember Timberwolves?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was.
that's a good idea, Eagle. You should do that.
But that would
There
be
was a
something.
guy that used to do that.
What
His
was
name
it?
was Schimmelfinnig.
Bring in the specialist. You could say there's a specialist. Probably Killer, because Killer knows everything somehow.
What we got to do is they have a picture of the War Rights Regiment family tree. We got to make a video on that 'cause that would be funny. But
Oh yeah, that one's sick.
we're about at the hour mark. There are a lot of other things I have to do tonight. A big week, Battle Line Wednesday, the championship, and then also finishing a bunch of stuff up before I head out to college. But Killer had to leave a little early, which is fine, but you all know him, A and V knows. So let's go through again if anyone wants to plug anything before we call it a night. We got Cosmic.
You guys can look us up in the community Discord. Iron Brigade. We have the 15th, the 6th, and the 4th US.
There's lots of that. Thank you for coming, Gene.
Yo. Yeah, Hampton's Legion. We're usually around in the Confederate recruitment, but yeah, signing off.
Thank you, Shade.
This is probably my last podcast for a while, so been fun for the time that I've done it. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for coming to all of them that you have. Corded.
You'll find us in the recruitment channels. 6 years, baby.
6 LA.
I feel like y'all have an anniversary every 2 months.
Hey.
And today we have Pioletti's birthday, and tomorrow is Gordon's birthday. Yay! But yeah, no, thank you all for listening in. This will be up on Spotify if you want to listen to that as well. Like, comment, share, subscribe, join our Discord, join our Patreon. This is my last podcast for a while. It's been a good summer. Killer, at least as of now, we have plans for him to take it over, do an NA and an EU podcast. So 2 different ones. It'll be great.
British people.
It'll be great. It'll be beautiful. But
Oh,
yeah,
well, don't
thank
mind
you
me.
all for a great summer. And we'll see you this Wednesday for the BLN Championship. With that being said, have a good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.